everybody, and welcome to Return of the Obra Dinn. Yes, I put this in the Discord server, so you may not be surprised, but if you haven't seen it, you may be surprised. But I'm doing a regular video of this, and the reason being is after every stream, I'm kind of going back and taking my time at my leisure and just recapping over things and seeing if I can pick up on new clues that I overlooked when I'm playing it live, because it's, you know, when you're trying to stream and stuff, you do tend to miss things because you're trying to provide a bit of explanation, a bit of commentary, and you're trying to monitor the chat and you're distracted. So when I've got the time to sit down after the stream and go through things properly, certain things just click and you think, oh bloody hell, yeah, that's right. So what I've done after the last stream, which was yesterday, I've sat down over the past sort of an hour and a half and I've gone through some memories again and basically just gone through the journal to see who's identified and who isn't, and can I do anything else to identify people that I should be identifying. Now, of course, this might not be all of the clues that I can still pick up on, but hell, it's going to be a lot more than I finish the stream with. And the beauty of doing this is that it allows us to kick straight off with the next stream into the new memories. There's no need to recap for an hour. We're just going to go straight into the new content. So without further ado, I'm just going to go through the journal from pretty much start to finish and to go through what I've picked up on. So let's go to the very beginning and start literally at the very beginning. So the very beginning, we know that this journal was written by Henry Evans, who is the surgeon. Well, you know that the surgeon disappeared. We know that the surgeon's still alive because he's written this book telling us about, you know, events of the ship. Now, whether this is a clue or not, I'm not so sure. But he has said to return the book to the French Office of Affairs in Morocco. Now, when you pick an option for somebody being alive, Africa is one of the options. And actually, if you look at the map of the ship, which we'll get to now, this is all happening quite close to the coast of Africa. Down here. I mean, it's quite close to the Azores also, but I mean, Africa's not a million miles away. So I'm kind of thinking, I wonder if when we pick the alive option, whether or not he's actually alive in Africa. You know? He wants the book sending to Morocco. Why? If he's not going to be there, why would he have the sending the book there? I'm not so sure. It's a bit of an educated guess, but I think that might be as much as we're going to get to work with when it comes to the surgeon. I could be wrong. You might want to wait for further clues, but I might just take a stab in the dark with that one. But we'll get to that in a second. So we're just going to go through the book in order, highlighting things that I've picked up. So that was one thing, right from the very start. A little snippet of information there in the journal that might give a clue to where the doctor is alive, or the surgeon. So, as we move through the book. So we've got so he's alive, we know that. In this scene here, I'm not going to play the scene for the moment, but in this scene, this is a scene where everybody... No, it wasn't that scene, apologies. Was it this scene? Oh, it was this scene. In this scene here, everybody's alive, everybody's playing poker. Oh, well, some Russians are playing cards, and there's a load of people in beds. And there's a couple of things we picked up. We picked up that one guy's got a tattoo on his arm, and the guy that's got a tattoo on his arm, the number of the bed is on his hammock, so we can tell who he is. He was, I'll tell you, he was a Scottish chappie by the name of Timothy Buttermont. And another kind of hammock next to the people that were playing cards, there's a pipe in a bag. So one of the guys has a pipe, and the number of the bed was number 47, where the bag was hanging from. So Alexei Toporov smokes a pipe. So again, that's 2 little clues that we can't use yet, but may be able to use in further memories to identify who these people are. So if we see somebody puffing on a pipe in another memory somewhere, we know it's him. And similarly, if we see a guy with a tattoo on his arm with a lady, we know it's that Scottish chappie. So that was a couple of things that we picked up from that particular memory. So let's continue onwards, shall we? So there's nothing from these scenes that rings a bell. So we keep pushing on to the murder scene. We know the murder scene. We've identified all of these things. This guy, we can't identify him, and he's 3 triangles. So what I'm doing is, if it's 3 triangles, I'm not going to bother with it for now. Wait for further evidence. If it's 2 triangles or 1 triangle, that's where I've tried to do a bit more digging. So I'm happy to wait for more information about him, but we know how he died and who killed him. The calling we don't have any information for. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Soldiers of Sea. We're about to get that memory. That's the guy. That's the person that's dead on the port walk. Yep. Okay. So, this chapter. This good old Doom chapter where all hellfire is breaking loose. I've got a feeling I'm going to be coming back to this chapter many times to try and tie up some loose ends. But we've already tied up a couple of loose ends, I think. So let's take a look. First of all, when we identified this chap who died of the illness, it actually automatically filled this bit in for us, which was quite handy. Okay, so this guy, we know how he died, but we don't know who he is. Again, he's 3 triangles, so we're going to leave that for now. We know who he is. Aha! Right then, so this is where we shall start our proceedings. This guy was exploded. I'm not going to go through the memory, but I'm going to talk you through the memory because I'm sure you'll remember it. There's a rope attached to him, and there was another guy pulling on the rope. You'll seem to, if you remember correctly. Yeah, get to the main bit. Hold on, throw the powder. Blows up, but there's a guy trying to pull him back. There's a rope attached to him. We know that he's a midshipman, but it's a 50-50. Which midshipman is he? Well, let's go forward a bit further then to another memory where all is revealed in that particular situation. The escape. Aha! Another midshipman. Let's go to what happened there. He was stabbed. He was crawling into the midshipman's quarters. And what does he say? He says, "Tell Pete's mother I tried my best to pull him back, to save him." So the guy that's got blown to smithereens was Pete, which means that he is the final midshipman. So we can sort this out right now. So he's not an unknown soul. We can now fill in the last information. We know he's a midshipman from his attire, and he was also present in the cow killing. We know he's just said, "I tried to save Pete, tried to pull him back." So he's not Pete, he must be Thomas. And he was knifed by an unknown attacker, which is correct because we still don't know that person, who it is, with the hat and the sort of blonde beard. We don't know who he is just yet. So that's enough information about him. But now we need to go back to the relevant chapter that we were just working on, which is the Doom. So that's a little bit of information there. But what we can now do is complete one more death in full. So he was blasted by an explosion, and we now know that he's Pete. Peter Milroy. That's got to be right. Which means we now have 2 pieces of information. 2 pieces of information, and we just need one more for a full house of 3. So what I'm going to now do is fast forward to the end of this chapter, where there's a few unknown fates which we'll get to very shortly. The one fate that I'm interested in now is this guy. So we haven't identified this guy, but he's got 2 triangles. We know he's a Chinese man. We know he's a Chinese, was it a Chinese topman, I think, perhaps, or Chinese seaman. How do we identify who he is? Well, there's two ways. Because we've got 2 locked in that we know are right, we can just do it by trial and error. Or we could use information from another scene, perhaps. So what scene, then? Well, in this scene here... Again, I'm not going to go through all the memories, it just takes ages, but I'll just do a talk through here. If we go to bookmark his memories, 5 memories, we don't know who he is at the second, but we'll get to this in a moment. So let's bookmark. Okay, it's just a control system, it's fine, it's just a control system. Right, so in his very first scene, it's the scene where people are playing cards. There's a load of Chinese people in beds. All their numbers are like 41, 42, 43. So he's sleeping there, but you couldn't really tell there. There's nothing to be given away there. But what is given away, nothing to be given away there either, I don't think. It's this scene here. It's this scene here, the Edward Spratt scene. And in fact, we might just quickly pop downstairs and replay that scene. If you don't mind, because it's only just here. So if you come back here, if you remember correctly, he was eating. He was eating here. Now, if you look here, that bed, hammock, whatever you want to call it, is number 41. And it's the only one that's here. And if we go to number 41 on the crew list, number 41 just happens to be a Chinese fella by the name of something Li, Wei Li. So I'm going to hazard a guess that this is probably Wei Li. But if we get this wrong, it's not a problem because, as I said, trial and error, we've got 2 locked in. He's going to have to be one of the Chinese people so we can try him all. So we'll do that. We'll bring him down. That's him. Did he meet an unknown fate? Well, no. Again, I'm not going to replay this particular memory right now, but on the very last memory of his, which was... We can actually go to the last memory. The Doom. His last memory was the Doom Part 7. No, the Doom Part 8. And I remember looking in the last session at this, if you're just racking brains back, but he was climbing some rigging or some netting on the ship, wasn't he? He was climbing some netting and the beast had its tentacle just about wrapped around him. So that to me suggests that he's going to be crushed by the beast. So Wei Li, a topman, based on the hammock, was crushed by the beast. Now please lock these in. Yes! Yes! Boom! Lovely jubbly! As we move on. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Let's go back to the table of contents and let's go back to the Doom because there's more. There's more to this Doom than meets the eye. Right, next on the list. It's all the missing people. Okay, so Nathan Peters then. Nathan Peters. If we go to Nathan Peters' memories, 3 memories, let's bookmark them, and let's go to his first memory. His first memory, I'll talk you through again. He's just in this scene where loads of people are sleeping. I think he's one of the covered guys with a foot sticking out of a hammock, not much to be seen there. In this scene here, no, bookmark. This is a scene where he kills Lars Linda, and in that scene, you seem to remember, if you seem to recall, he's getting onto a lifeboat. Lars Linda tries to get on and he kills him for accidentally killing his brother. So we know he's getting onto a lifeboat. In the final scene of his, which is this scene here, which we will go to because it's not too far away, you'll see what happens to him. Let's just pop upstairs. Alright, so it's the scene where the guy's been ripped to bits. This one here. Bush! Right. Lifeboat. 3 people. Boom! Tossed out of it. One of those 3 is Chappie. So, I think it's safe to assume that our friend Nathan Peters was in his lifeboat trying to escape when the beast attacked and the lifeboat got tossed into the water by the beast. So, not an unknown fate at all. He is certainly drowned, in my opinion, and he was drowned by the beast. But there's more information from that scene that we can utilise to fill in a couple of more demises, because there were 3 people tossed from the lifeboat, were there not? Which means that there are 2 other people's fates that we now know. So let's go to this particular scene here. No, wrong scene. Let's go to this scene here to identify the other 2 people that drowned with Nathan Peters. So it must be him. So it must be you. So you must have drowned by the beast also. Don't know who you are just yet, and we can't tell just yet because you're still greyed out. And likewise, we know that you were drowned by the beast. Again, we don't know who he is, but we can fill out their fates now. So
you killed my brother.
That's a couple of extra pieces of information to add to the solution, hopefully, of the puzzle. Okay, so let's continue on this rather harrowing and dramatic scene of the doom. Anything else that we can draw conclusions from based on what we've got so far? Still don't know who he is. He was drowned by the beast. So we've got 1 full fate. These are partials. Don't know who he is or how he met his demise. Boom! So we're done for now on that particular scene. So we move forwards to new scenes. So what's the next scene on our little list? The escape scene. So Bosun. Yep, we've seen that one. We know Paul Moss died. We know he died. We know that he was shot by the 4th mate. Now, we know that he was knifed by the guy that we can't identify, but we've identified him as Thomas now. That's fine. Wayward Souls. Now, this is where my little bit of hopefully intuition might yield a result. We'll have to see. But these guys, as we will now see, they were on a boat and they disappeared. Now the boat, in my opinion, did indeed escape because the doctor was on that boat and the doctor's alive. So if we go to this scene here, where they shot this chappie, what was he called again? Leonard? Leonid? So there, she's there. That is the doctor, the surgeon. There's also this guy here on the same boat. And there's also that lady there, Miss Jackson. So all 4 of them, in my opinion, probably escaped on the boat. Now, before we go any further, this is a bit of a educated guess on my part, but I think that this guy here, he's always in this person's company. So he's got to be the 4th mate's steward. It's got to be the 4th mate's steward. He's the only steward that we haven't identified. So it's got to be him. So that's Davy Jones, in my opinion. Did he meet an unknown fate? Well, if we're assuming that he escaped on the boat, then he's alive. But it's just a case of where did the boat go? I'm going to make an educated guess. We've got I think we've got 2 fates locked in now, have we? So let's see if we can try the surgeon first. This might give us a 3rd fate. Let's have a look. So let's see if we can say that he's alive and we think he's in Africa. Ooh, that might not be right. Is that 2 fates? Is that 2 fates locked in or not? Oh, this is where I need to go through all of the book again now to see have we got 3 fates locked in. In which case we are wrong. Right. Bear with me, folks. This is where we just rifle through to see how many fates we've got. Trial and error not required. Right, no, that's not. No, oh, that's unknown soul. That's not a full. That's not a full fate. It's got to be a better way of doing this, surely. Right, okay, we go. No, 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 unknown. No, Peter Milroy. No, that's locked in. That's locked in there. Locked in, right. Okay, so we've got 1. Nathan Peters drowned by a terrible beast. That's 1 fate complete. Unknown soul drowned, unknown soul drowned. So it's only 1 at the minute. I think the doctor might actually only make 2 then. Let's just double check. Unknown soul, that's not a full one. That's not a full one because it's an unknown attacker. We've just filled in the doctor, so that's 2. We should know who he is now, but he's 3 triangles, so we're going to wait a bit longer for that one. Right, so it's only 2. Okay, that's good. So that means it might be still right. So let's try her as well then, and say that she must have gone to the same place as him, because they're on the same boat. So, alive in Africa. Yes! Yes! Nice, nice. So that gives us a bit more information now, because with a bit of, with a bit of connecting the dots, so to speak, we now know that she must also be alive in Africa. Again, same boat. So that's 1. And we know that you are on the same boat also, so you must be alive in Africa too. Unless he crops up in a further memory, but he's not. His last memory is here, and there's not many memories after this, so he must have escaped from the same boat. So he's also alive in Africa, I think. But we'll soon find out, because we now have 2 fates locked in from the disappearances. So disappearances there, him and her. So we need 1 more. We need 1 more. We need 1 more. One more fate, potentially. So I think we're done. So I've literally gone through all the notes that I had and all the all the additional information that I've picked up. I think I've gone through it all now. So I'm going to be really. This is just a very quick, because we've got 2 locked in that might well be right. We've kind of got a sneaky suspicion they are. We're going to use a bit of trial and error on a death that might yield. So this guy here, right? This guy here. Where is he? He's there, right? He's there. And these were the Russians. These were the Russians that were playing cards. So I think he may well be Russian. So I'm just gonna try a little bit of trial and error here and say that he's a Russian seaman. And see what that does. No. What about a Welsh one? No. Bugger. I mean, that might be right. It might be the fourth mate that's wrong. He might not be alive in Africa. But okay, I just thought I'd try a bit of trial and error there. Unknown officer. No. Unknown individual. Okay. Right. So let me just continue to go through this book and see if there's any more where we might be able to have a kind of a guess as to who they are. Another one that's kind of close. Can't be that difficult to identify this chap. It can't be. And he's in so many things that if we were to get him right, it might open up a couple of fates here. Because he's been involved in a couple of deaths. Like he stabbed him, for instance. He stabbed this guy. No, not this guy. The steward, the midshipman. Anyway, basically this guy here, we know he was definitely killed with a gun by John Davies. We know that for certain. And he's got a hat on, so he's an important person. He's not a mate, but he's an important person on this ship. He's got his own little hat. He's got to be easy to identify by trial and error. It's got to be an important officer. So how many important officers are left? The boatswain's mate. Well, he's not French. So you've got the carpenter, the carpenter's mate, the cook, the gunner's mate, the purser. Scottish. He doesn't sound Scottish to me. We have heard him speaking, haven't we? The ship steward, the steward. Could he be the captain? He's not Swedish, is he? You reckon he's Swedish? No, we've not heard him bloody talking. He's talking English. Wait further clues. No, try it anyways. Captain, steward. And then we've just got topman, seaman. Carpenter? Why would a carpenter have a fancy hat? Can't see him being the boatswain's mate. Again, he's been talking, and the boatswain's mate got ripped apart by the beast. We know that for certain due to a conversation with the Austrian chappie. Carpenter or carpenter's mate. Cook doesn't look like a cook. Gunner's mate. It doesn't look like a mate to anybody. Purser. Scottish. He doesn't sound Scottish. So he's not the purser. Passengers. Ship's steward. Captain's steward. And then you've just got topman and seaman. So who the hell is he then? Oh, the carpenter and the carpenter's mate are American. That might be a clue there. Have we heard them speak? Have we had any Americans on board? I don't think so. He's not Polish. Passenger. Interesting. Nobody's springing out here. Nobody is springing out. Interesting indeed. He might be. He might well be the purser, and it might be the one of the other things I've got wrong. It could be the purser, you know. He could be administrative. And you know what? I think he might be the purser. I think he might be the purser. But I just reckon we've got the other chap wrong. Maybe the fourth mate's steward, perhaps. Interesting. Let me just try one last thing. Just one last thing. And we're going to call close to this session. If we put him as the purser, right? If we put, where's the flipping purser gone? Purser. But he's not Scottish though. Do you know what? No, forget it. Forget it. We haven't got enough clues anyway. He's still greyed out. So we'll hang fire. We'll hang fire, and we'll just do it as and when we get the information. So we're short by the John Davies. We don't know who he is. Sneaking suspicion who he might be. I'm tempted to revisit memories where he's now speaking again, just to get a handle on things. But I'll do that off camera. And if I pick up on anything, I'll revisit those in the stream because there's not much left now. So anyway, there you go. there's several pieces of information tied up, and fates decided and sealed. So yes, good progress indeed. Happy with that. And now looking forward to the next stream on Sunday, where we'll start looking at new memories, and hopefully we'll make more good progress with figuring out just what the hell happened on this damn cursed ship. Until then, see you soon.